Buying a used supercar might sound like the deal of a lifetime, but when it's a rare, legendary Bugatti Veyron, that dream deal can instantly turn into a one-way ticket to absolute bankruptcy. Imagine owning your ultimate dream car, only it's completely dead, frozen in place, with a staggering $400,000 on the line. On the outside, she looks flawless, looking as clean as the day she rolled off the showroom floor. But underneath that breathtaking carbon fiber body lies a dark, deeply hidden mechanical nightmare, one that forced top automotive creator Matt Armstrong to risk his reputation and his wallet to bring this dead monster back to life. The madness started while Matt was burning the midnight oil on his previous high-profile build, a wrecked Bugatti Chiron. Out of nowhere, an exotic car dealership reached out with a wild proposition. They had a 2006 Bugatti Veyron packed with a laundry list of catastrophic, hidden faults. The dealership knew Matt couldn't resist. This wasn't just any Veyron. It was chassis number 34 out of only 450 ever built in the world. But here's the catch. This specific car was originally delivered straight to Dubai. That meant there was a total blackout on its maintenance history in the UK, where Matt is based. When the flatbed dropped it off, the scene was incredibly dramatic. Visually, there wasn't a single scratch or dent, and the engine actually fired right up. But the second you tried to engage a gear, the transmission completely locked up, leaving the hypercar totally paralyzed in park. That total paralysis brings us right into the heart of a financial horror story. Looking closely at the dashboard, a terrifying Christmas tree of warning lights popped up: the check engine light, a cooling system fault, and the dreaded gearbox failure light. This view alone is enough to make any experienced mechanic throw in the towel. The real panic set in when Matt called his friend Mark, who had previously bought a broken Veyron with similar transmission gremlins. Mark dropped a bombshell. A brand new replacement gearbox for this machine costs a brutal $400,000. And since it's an ultra-limited production run, finding a used unit on the market is virtually impossible. A single wrong diagnostic move could quite literally cost a fortune. But the plot thickened, and the car's hidden history began unraveling piece by piece. Matt quickly noticed that the striking white exterior wasn't factory paint at all. It was just a vinyl wrap hiding the original bright blue paint underneath, which was clearly visible inside the door jambs. A deep dive into the internet led Matt to an old photo of this exact blue Veyron sitting inside a specialized repair shop years ago. Shockingly, right next to it in the photo was Mark's Veyron, suffering from the exact same transmission curse. When Matt called Mark to check in, the news was grim. Mark's Veyron was still sitting in the Netherlands being rebuilt, waiting for custom-engineered parts to be shipped all the way from Korea. The mechanical curse haunting Matt's new project was far deeper than anyone anticipated. The mechanical maze truly began when Matt rolled the car into the workshop and plugged a diagnostic scanner into the OBD port. The screen flashed a devastating reality: 30 simultaneous fault codes. Attempts to clear the codes and reset the system did absolutely nothing. The errors immediately bounced back. As the massive 16-cylinder quad-turbocharged 1,000 horsepower engine idled, the scanner flagged a severe misfire on cylinder number 8, backed up by a brutal ticking noise coming from the block. Matt decided to strip down the entire rear end of the car, pulling off the taillights and engine covers. That's when they discovered the coolant was critically low in a hidden silver auxiliary reservoir on the right side, the one dedicated entirely to cooling the turbochargers. After topping it up, the cooling warning light finally turned blue. The team scored its first small victory against the monster. Yet the engine misfire and the transmission lockout remained completely unsolved. Matt shifted his focus to the secondary air injection system, which uses 4 separate air pumps during a cold start. This system forces fresh air into the exhaust to heat up the catalytic converters and slash emissions. However, if a non-return valve fails, toxic exhaust gases can back up into the cylinder intake, creating massive back pressure, fooling the oxygen sensors and triggering a heavy misfire. But after testing the air pumps, they all checked out fine, complicating the mystery even further and forcing Matt to call in a specialist with a dealer-level diagnostic tool to track down the car's mysterious past. Next, they lifted the hypercar into the air, dropping the heavy underbody shielding and undertrays to inspect the high-pressure oil lines. Everything underneath was bone dry, with no signs of leaks, which pointed the investigation directly at the main electrical fuse box. After testing the fuses one by one, they stumbled upon a massive melted fuse that was visibly scorched and deformed from a massive current spike. The terrifying part is that this fuse had been previously replaced with the wrong rating. A high amp fuse melting like this means a massive electrical short circuit is lurking somewhere in the wiring loom, making the installation of a new fuse a high-stakes gamble that could easily burn the entire multi-million-dollar car to the ground. Matt made a genius yet highly risky move. He installed a lower-rated fuse to see which component was drawing the deadly current without frying the wires. Instantly, a loud, aggressive sound echoed from under the chassis. The transmission's electric oil pump violently burst into life. The pump started priming and cutting out repeatedly in a frantic, unsettling loop. This frantic behavior explained everything. The pump was shorting out or running dry, which is what kept blowing the fuse every time a driver opened the door. Matt jumped into the cockpit, held his breath, and tried engaging the gears. For the first time in weeks, the digital dash shifted to neutral, then reverse, and the massive wheels actually started spinning on the lift. The wheels are turning, and a pulse of life has officially returned to this legendary beast, but the celebration is cut short by looming danger. A car that fixes itself out of nowhere can break down again just as quickly, especially since that cylinder 8 misfire is still lingering, and over 20 unresolved fault codes are still burnt into the car's computer. The journey to bring this Bugatti Veyron back to its former glory has only just begun. The burning question on everyone's minds right now is simple. How much money will Matt have to burn through next to kill this mechanical curse once and for all?